What's up, everybody? A Sparrow with a Gun here from Sleepless Nights with another episode on Stationeers. When we left off in the last episode, we got a filtration system kind of going, though I am a little concerned with this. That sounds a little bit better, but it keeps doing this, like, popping kind of thing, which has me concerned a little bit. That. I'm really not sure what that's about, because I've gone out and checked and stuff, and the pipes all look fine. Like, there's no breaks in the pipe. The tank's closed, the valve's closed, there's no pressure in the pipe, so I'm not really sure where that's coming from, and it has me a little concerned. I'm gonna go out here for a moment, and I would have thought it was a glitch. Oh, wait, did I do that right? Yep, okay, I guess I did. Alright, good. I would have thought it was a glitch, except that I kept hearing it even when I put my helmet on. But see, like, out here, I don't hear it anywhere. And there's no visible pipe breaks or anything like that, so I'm not really too sure how that's working. But yeah, so I don't really know where that noise is coming from, and it has me a little concerned, because yeah. But in the last episode we set up this tank storage filtration type system where anything that's not nitrogen and oxygen gets filtered out and put in these tanks. Now, for the most part, this would work fine. We don't really have all that much gas coming in and out to be worried about it, and then we have the excess vent here, which should never really be worked on, because basically we've accounted for every kind of gas. So this is kind of a overflow valve type thing, I guess, if you want to call it that, where if it gets too high, then it's gonna, you know, kick it back out. So what we didn't account for is the nitrogen and the oxygen, because at the moment it's just being pumped into there. So what I'd really like to do is kind of reconfigure this just a smidge. So what I'm thinking is we already have a nitrogen and oxygen filter, so there's really no need to make a second set and move them down there. So what I'm thinking is we're just going to reposition all this to where oxygen goes in, nitrogen goes in, and then the rest of them go in. However, I'll have to put a T-junction valve somewhere on these two for oxygen and nitrogen, combine it with a gas mixer, to where the gas mixer would then output the proper 80-20 blend type thing in case we have more nitrogen or more oxygen and we're not just dumping both tanks. And we'll also need to do some kind of cutoff valve, so that if the room is properly pressurized and we have enough air in there, to where we're just storing excess oxygen and nitrogen. And what I'd also like to do, I don't know if I'm going to get to all of this in this episode or not, but this is just future plans. What I'd like to do is hook up these data cables, whether we run them back into the power cable or not. I don't think there's a problem with that. We'll have to see. But if we run it back into the existing cable lines, then we'd have the data for each tank. And in this most recent update, actually, I think they added the information from the tanks to read out temperatures, pressure, contents, etc. And so what I'd like to do long term, I don't know if it's feasible to do right now, but what I'd like to do is on these kind of tanks here, have some kind of data cable running to a logic circuit, a computer, or something like that, and then have some kind of, probably a digital valve I think I would need. I'm not really sure what I would need to do this, but I think it would be a digital valve, not just a valve, because those are basically just hand cranks. But what I'm thinking is have a digital valve running here that then the computer line would be connected to, and if basically set up a logic to where if any of these tanks are full, open the vent and it would just vent that particular gas because now this tank is full. So it would basically be, it would have to be a digitally controlled valve because, well, feels like it should be kind of self-explanatory because the computer has to control whether or not to open the valve. And I also had a comment about when I had mentioned there's no, do I still have my, I do. There's no pressure regulator here to push the pressure into there and empty it. We do have stuff in the tank, but it's equal pressure in the tank and the pipe. We're not emptying the pipes. In fact, nope, this is the output. I was going to say, in fact, this one might have it, but that's the one that keeps going to the end. Now, this one at the end here shouldn't actually have anything in the output. Yeah, or the waste, because there's no other kinds of gases in the game. And it was recommended, like, wouldn't a pressure regulator work just fine? I don't believe so, and the reason I say that is because if I understand pressures correctly, I mean pressure regulators and stuff, and I'm still learning some of the blocks in this game, but if I understand pressure regulators correctly, they will allow pressure up to the value specified, but not more. So it doesn't force air or pressure through the pipe, it just bottlenecks it if the pressure on the output side is greater than what I want this to handle. An example would be the tank in our room there, that if it's above 10,000 kPa, then it backs up into the pipe. It doesn't go into the storage tank because it would make the container explode. That's what the pressure regulators are for. I believe a volume something, what is it called? Volume regulator or something to that extent. I think that is what I would be looking for to empty the pipe, because that actually creates pressure to push it through, if I understand all the piping stuff correctly, which, good luck. So I'm going to work on that for a little bit and see what I can come up with, but my plan is to at least reconfigure the filtration system today to account for storing as well as mixing the oxygen into the atmosphere, so we have a more blended, more regulated atmosphere. And then if I get that done relatively quickly and it wasn't that hard and I didn't use up a ton of resources, I might start working on connecting at least some data cables and a computer to read what our data is at and stuff like that. And we'll go from there. But if for some reason it ends up being that, you know, we don't can't have, or it takes too long or something, that might be future plans. But that's kind of my current projects on my table at the moment that I'm thinking of, is to reconfigure this to hook up to the storage and then mix. Next would be reading the data from all the tanks, and then the next step would be controlling the data from all the tanks to do a proper vent system for an emergency. Once we get that going, we will be pretty darn set up for air and oxygen stuff. All we'll basically need to do is melt down ice, oxides, and etc. And then we'll have to work on temperature regulation, I suppose. But actually, I'm not sure if that'll be too much of an issue. Here's why. Out here, if I'm understanding this correctly, we see that the temperature in the tank is -3 degrees. I don't know if being out here and exposed to the sun will actually eventually warm them or not. I don't know. If that's true, though, we probably wouldn't have to worry too much about the temperature inside because it would eventually regulate it out. I'm not actually sure if that would work or not, though, because that one is still -41 degrees, and I haven't seen any change in that. So I'm not really sure if that's a thing or not. So we may have to look into, the other option is, what do they call them? Radiators, I think? The pipe radiators that are supposed to heat the pipe. We could look into something like that, but again, I don't know enough about the blocks to properly regulate them and make sure that I'm actually getting, you know, what I need it to do, and monitor the temperatures to get it to the right temperature thing. I don't know that I'm doing that, or how to do that with the regulators, because I don't know, or radiators or whatever they're called. I don't know how heated they make things. But that little clicking thing, I don't know if it's a bug or not. It could just be an audio glitch, but since the rest of the audio works fine, I have a feeling it's not. But I really don't know what it is, and it's kind of concerning me a bit. Because I have the pressure regulator on, unless that's what this is. It could be the pressure regulator, I guess. Like, moving more through... Okay, so the rest of the network is empty. There is nothing in these... There is stuff in the vent. No, that's world. Okay. So that's world, 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 world. So there is pressure in this pipe. Maybe that's what's making the noise, is it has nowhere to go. So I might need a bleed-off valve somewhere. Let's see what happens, actually, if I open this valve up. Does this work? Does this go backwards? Does the pressure work backwards? I'm not really... I'm not good at this stuff. I'm surprised I haven't killed myself yet. Alright, so I'm going to work on some of this stuff and see what happens, and I'll get back when I've made some progress. Okay, so I'm not really doing what I said I was doing. So I was playing around with my planning and figuring out how I wanted to do that. And I came up with a couple different ideas. Mainly, I could actually connect all of these tanks up through T-junctions and such and different things like that, and then use one valve if it's controlled by a computer, blah, blah, blah. I had a couple of different ideas, but it required a digital valve. I don't know if they're going to work, full disclosure, so if I said something that you're like, that's not going to work, it probably won't, but it's just what I'm thinking at the moment. But when I went to do the actual, whatchamacallit, the control thing, the valve, it needs INVAR, which of course, through further study, the only way you can make INVAR is with the furnace, and the only way you can make it with the furnace is if you get a nice blend of like 70% oxygen and 30% H2, and it has to be 500 kPa. It's crazy. So, I jury-rigged this thing. Not a solution. It is a workaround, and some of you may already be terrified of what this is for. So, I don't have an oxygen tank. It's all in that room. I haven't set it up to filter and store from the oxygen tank, and frankly, that's a lot of work. So I'm going to do it the terrible way of using my suit tank, like pop it out, throw it in, hope I don't die. This is saved on a backup file, you know, just in case, but, yeah, so we're going to try that. So I read online, an idea was to set the gas mixer to 70% and 30%, which this being the 30 and this being the 70, as you can see with the input 2 there, and turning this on, then setting the pressure regulator to 500, turning this on. Oh, I need a valve. Okay, so the idea was to, turn on the pressure regulator, let the pipe pressurize to 500, and then turn this off so you're not getting more pressure than you need, and then turning the valve on, which puts just that into the furnace. I knew I forgot something. And if I have this set up correctly, the idea is you turn this on, you'll turn this on. I'm not really sure if the mixer will keep it from mixing unless it has a second input. That's going to be... But basically, I'll throw my air tank in, I could make another air tank, but yeah, it's a lot of work. So yeah, we're just going to hope we don't die. And I'm going to throw this in here, turn this on with the pressure regulator set to on, give it a second, turn this back off, grab my air tank really quickly, and then turn the valve on, and it should work. We'll see. Alrighty, so without further ado, I give you the probably most terrible way to make iron ever. Or INVAR, excuse me. Especially when I consider I got so excited I didn't even bring my atmospheric analyzer with me. So, that's just a great idea. Alright, so we'll turn this on. Yep, we're gonna do it. 3, 2, 1, go. Pressurize that, give it a minute. Alright, actually this is not going too terribly. I guess it's because I have pressure in my suit. Alright, I'm gonna go out on a wild goose chase and say that's enough. That actually went a lot better than I thought. Alright, so let's turn this on, and with any luck... That does not look like... Well... Wait, 250... Oh, that's temperature. So the pressure is not going up? Alright, we're 41. Let's let's try that again. Since I did not actually know that we could stand to be without our oxygen tank for that long. I really needed an oxygen or an atmospheric analyzer, to be honest, but that was work that I didn't feel like doing. You know what? I might just open this valve and just see if I can... Maybe not. Alright, let's do that. And grab this and put... Oh, that's empty! Oh, not good. That's not good at all. Alright, hold on. Let's do a take 2 with an atmospheric analyzer and see if we can do this a little better. Alright. So we're doing it the quote-unquote right way. Not really, but it's closer. So what I ended up doing was I cut off the filtration system. I pulled from the oxygen one, ran it to the tank, and then teed off and went to the gas mixer furnace setup. And the reason I did that is because it was faster than trying to rebuild this whole thing, and right now I can probably do without the oxygen at the moment, and I pulled a little bit. I didn't pull all of it. But so yeah, that's kind of, it was just, I'm looking to make the Invar, because then once I can get the digital pipe valves and stuff like that, I can make it a more efficient, more complex type of system. So with that, let's get our analyzer out here, and this is off, so we'll turn this on, and we'll turn this on. And with any luck, I don't know if I need a volume pump or not. This is in the pipe. This is in the pipe. So why am I not getting anything? Oh, this says world. Why am I not? There we go. Pipe network. Okay. So we're currently at a 3466. I don't know why it's not 7030 like we had set it up for, because I'm pretty sure that's what I set it up for. Yeah, 7030. So I don't know why it's 3466, but whatever. We'll try it. So this pipe now has 500, so we'll turn this off. We'll vent that into here. And with any luck... Okay, that went really far. I'm not really sure why this is not cranking up more. That's the only thing I don't quite understand, is it's saying only 41. This says only 41, but I had 500 in the pipe here. And now it's only saying 40. So, yeah, I'm not really sure what to make of that. Let's just turn this on and monitor it for a minute here. So when it gets up to 500 or close to it, I don't think it has to be super precise, but the guide said to be at 500, so we're going to wait till it gets about 480 or so, because it's ticking up at a pretty good speed, and then we'll shut the valve off. Though in theory, it would be fine, because it won't go above 500, but the valve keeps us from losing gas, basically. So it's getting close, getting there. Alright. So let's go ahead and shut it off right here. We'll turn this off so we're not consuming power. Let's see, we're 484. But see, there's still... I'm still getting used to this pressure system stuff, so please bear with me. Oops. Okay, so that needs to be on 492. Please bear with me if I'm doing things wrong, because I'm not a pressures guy, so I don't really know what I'm doing. But we'll let it tick up. So basically that's the idea. I'm still a little concerned as to why this is 34 and 66 and not 3070, like we set it up for. Unless that's just kind of like what I have, and I don't have enough to make it whatever. I personally think that's going to be good enough. It's going really slow at this point, so we're going to shut that off. I didn't mean to click that. We'll turn this off. Hello. 498. I think that's good enough. I don't know for sure. Let's throw this in there. We'll throw this in there. And invar is 1-to-1, so in theory we should end up with 30 invar off of this. If I did everything right. Who the heck knows? But at least we weren't using the air out of our suit. Admittedly, not a smart idea. Alright. Activating. But it's not saying stuff that I want it to say. Like, invar. And I don't know why it's not saying invar. Because it should be. Actually, I think we have everything set. You know what? Let's just turn the pressure rack on. We'll just do this way and see. There we go. Invar. And then turn this back off. And turn this back off as well. Now, I don't know if I'm going to lose the gas in these pipes when I dismantle all this. I think I'm going to. I'm not really worried about it. Oh, we got 60, not 30, so that's cool. I'm not particularly worried about losing the gas because we can always get more. I'm going to basically lose all of this, all of that. Well, actually, all of this is probably venting out into space right now, but we have the invar we need, so we should be able to make digital valves and stuff like that. Now, I think you need electrum for... what was the other one? There was another high-end pipe piece, but you need electrum for that, which is something else that I'm not going to worry about today. So I'm going to break all this back down, get my filtration system running again, and then maybe tinker with some digital valve stuff and see what we can come up with for... though I could actually incorporate the filtration system in over here at this point, probably. We'll see. I gotta figure this out. Okay, so this is sometime after. Sometime after. I'm actually surprised I got all this done. So I've done a couple of things. I have no idea if they're going to work. Full disclosure, this is just my kind of concept of it. Hope it works, and we'll go from there. So I have reconfigured the wiring over here to go down this wall and along here like it normally did, and then it came up here. Reconfigured the pipes. This is the input that goes into the room. This is the, well, this is the input that goes into the system. This is the output that goes into the room. Let's put it that way. So the output is connected to this gas mixer, which is set to a 2080 with the 2 being what's hooked up to the oxygen tank and the 20 being what's hooked up to the nitrogen tank. And I've made 2 digital valves, hooked them with power and data. Hopefully the computer can control them and it will only open this valve when I want this vent on. Actually, I might even wire it to be... I was going to wire it a little differently, but I might even wire it to be on that vent. I'm not sure yet. Like when you click that vent on, then it turns these 2 valves on and pulls. And this would pull from the system or the tank. And this is not ideal. Like, don't get me wrong, this is not the most efficient, this is not the best way to do this. This is more just me trying to make sense of things and seeing if it'll work. I've wired up the power once again. I have gotten stuck more times working on this project than I have no idea. Alright, so the wire connects to all this stuff, comes up here, connects to the power or the gas mixer. It also runs into that wall and connects to the computer that I built on the other side. Now, as for the filtration system, it pretty much works the same. We've got the input line running here. It filters out, goes oxygen goes there, the rest goes here, and it's kind of wired up the same way with the exception of that recycling segment. I also reconfigured this out here. There's a pressure regulator to regulate pressure, go figure. Right now it's off because I don't even know if I'm going to get anything down here. I probably won't, but it's kind of like an overflow type thing. Anything that's left. I'm going to have to reconfigure this again because this isn't going to work for filtration. I probably should put this further up. Like if I want air to be... I don't know. I should probably have a separate tank filling station, which, by the way, when I said the data storage thing from this update, that's what it was talking about. Not the big ones, but the little ones. Now I have a data, I guess. So yeah, I'm not really worried about this. It's off at the moment with the overflow vent over here, so this is kind of a... I had extra stuff, so I set it up out here, but it really won't work out here the way I want it to. So what I think I'm going to do is I was going to wire this all... I really sometimes hate the jumping. what I was going to do is turn all this on and have it going, but I actually think I'm going to wire it through the computer and see how that works, because I think I can access... I didn't bring my labeler out. Crap. I guess they both need to come on, so it doesn't really matter, but crap. I also should have stuff to where if you turn it off, then it should flood back in. Though, I guess in theory, if I turn the vent on and it's moving stuff through, and then I turn it off and I turn this back on, it'll pull all that back through and restore it, I guess. But still, there should be the alternate methods and stuff as far as if you want to turn it back off and stuff like that. It should have some kind of regulator thing to make it go backwards, and right at the moment it doesn't. I don't have any pressure regulations or anything, so it's just free-flowing. Also a dangerous thing, and it's probably not a good idea. But, you know, that's what I was saying, is it's not really the most efficient, but this is more just testing to see if it works. More so than anything else. So let me work on the computer a bit here. Hello? Oh, there we go. I'm still getting that weird clicking. I'm dubbing it a clicking. I don't really know what you would call it, but popping, clicking, stuttering, something that makes it like click, click, click. It's like... and it's... I don't know why it's doing that. As you can hear, it kind of does it anywhere it's pressurized. So, I don't know. It's weird because the rest of the sound effects work. So we'll open this, we'll take a logic circuit board, motherboard, throw that in there, and when we boot this up, we should have this thing, which is the logic control. I can run over real quick how this works, because I haven't played with it myself. You have a state, you can rename it. There's conditions, there's actions, then it moves to another state. You can set up multiple states. You can cycle through them, etc. But in the interest of time, I'm going to go ahead and do all the logic, and then we'll see, then we'll come back to that. Alrighty, so I've set this up as best I can, so I think it's working. I'm not really sure yet. It hasn't been breaking, so that's a good thing. So again, for those of you that may or may not be familiar, let's just go over this really, really quickly. So I changed the state of the name for valves on. So I named this to vent flood and this to vent vacuum. So with vent flood, if the power is on, now this part I'm not really sure about. The gas mixer, digital valve, and the two digital valves, their ons are set to 0 by default, and then the option is enter a value. I'm not really sure why it's enter a value and not just 0, 1, true, false, something binary, but I'm trying 1 to see if that works. I don't know if that's going to adjust like the value of them. They have lock, setting, and on. I'm assuming on is what I'm looking for. I don't know. So because of that, I'm not sure if this will work or not, and I'm not sure if the values are right or not. But, so this is set up to where if the vent is on, then the mixer and the two valves will turn on, and then it waits for the next state, which is valve off, which is down here and is basically the mirror. So right now you can see there's a green check because this is off. But like you see that the power is off. So why is this 0? I don't know. They default to 0 and they're all off right now. Actually, that would be a good test. Let's try this out just for kicks. We're going to add another condition and we're going to find the computer, if I can. Electronic power control computer. Open. Let's set on. See, it's set to 0. I don't get that. Oh. I don't know why it's set to that. That doesn't make sense to me as to why on is an enter value. So I don't think this is going to work right. Especially since the conditions are applied right now. Open. See, open's true and false. This is so weird. Okay, I guess it's not running right now, but still. So I'm not real confident as to whether or not this is going to work or not. Oh, I think it's because it's in this state right now. All right, let's try this. If we run this, all right, now we're in. Okay, so let's try this then. Let's set this We'll set this down here. We'll set the on to 0. And let's run this. And it went through the whole thing and did not turn the thing on. Or, I mean, off. Maybe that's because it can't do it. Let's try something else, maybe. Let's go with wall light. I had actually set this up to be the trigger, so I renamed it. And then I thought, well, maybe I can use it for... Ooh, let's try lock. Because these all have lock settings. Alright. A little bit of experimentation here. I'm just trying to make sure this works. That did not do anything. Other than... Yeah, it didn't lock it. So I think lock is when you're turning off the ability to control it by hand. It'll only run through computer. And that did not turn on. I don't know how you turn these things off. This is kind of bothering me because it shouldn't be a enter value unless we can just enter, like, false? Nope, that didn't work. 100? I don't know why on should not be an integer value. This doesn't make any sense to me. Unless maybe -1? Can we do negative numbers? Let's try that. Nope, did not turn the wall light off. Alright, so this isn't gonna work if on is this dumb thing. I don't get it. Let me do one more quick attempt at Google to see if I can find a way to actually turn things on and off. Okay, so I think for now I'm gonna have to give up on the computer-controlled stuff. Oh wait, maybe I have to put a data disk in. Could that be a thing? All this, I've been looking it up all online and cannot find anything. Maybe I have to put a data disk in. Just a hypothetical. Let's see what that does. Still doesn't have anything here. This is still not working. So I don't really know what the data disk things are for. Really quick, I wonder what that actually does. And if, in case you're wondering why I'm standing so far away, it's because the last time I was testing this save out, I got stuck over here and I couldn't leave. Logic reader, blah 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 blah. Digital. I don't see the data disk anywhere. So what's the disk for? Logic reader. Huh. So, yeah, I've been testing this stuff, and I cannot get this to work at all. So we're going to try it, but I'm not real confident that this is going to actually do anything. So let's see what happens when we turn this on. Yeah, we're not getting any pressure off of this, which means the valves and stuff aren't... Okay, this should be active. And it's flipping down to state 2. I mean, I guess that makes sense because it shouldn't just stay on, but with this actually not toggling anything, we're not really getting anything. So the logic switch part works, but the actions don't, because all I have is this on-off. Like, in other YouTube videos, I've seen people access power, like gas mixer, power, true, false. And actually, even it was a light that I saw in one of the examples, was the light was on-off. And it's not doing that. And even this is like activate and stuff. But these just on ones, I don't think I have access to what I need to. See, it's 0 in both states. That doesn't seem right to me. So I might try in the next episode to do it with circuit chips, because this does not seem to be working right. So we're going to leave that off for now. Overall, I'm assuming the system will work, but I don't want to mess with it too much until we actually get a way to control it so that when I turn this off and I'm like, okay, I'm good, I don't have to go in and out of the airlock while the pipe system's building up pressure, and I didn't build in actual valve controls and stuff to do that. So that's something we'll work on in the next episode, I guess. But in the meantime, we're going to wrap things up here. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, and I will see you all next time. Peace.